Alrighty, fans, back for one more Memorial Day section of Sports Chat. Segment
Segment is really
of the issue episode edition. Fans, let's talk a little bit about Campbell County football. Now, we were able to have spring practice. Even had a little bit of a spring game. Now, Chris Mays is the interim coach. Now, Chris mainly has been coaching baseball of late. He coached under Coach Wells. You know, he's a good coach. He got out of football coaching to concentrate on baseball. Don't know if he's looking to get back into the coaching ranks. Don't know if he's applied. This is being played real tight to the vest on who's applying, but pretty much a team of Chris Mays, Johnny Bruce, Cody Parker, Mike Miller, Brent Pill, and Josh James ran them through spring practice. That, not a bad coaching staff. Don't really think that bunch is going to come together and coach on the high school level. Those stranger things have happened.
That would actually be quite a staff if they managed to put that one together. But
of course, granted, then you have a coaching search at Jacksboro.
They're coaching several other sports right now. So, Cody's coaching basketball at Jacksboro. Mike's coaching football at Jacksboro.
Brent coaches football at Jacksboro. Yeah. Johnny coaches golf and
is the
athletic director and is on the county commission.
So I'm going to assume this staff probably not going to stay in place, but they're supposed to name a staff, Thursday? Or a new coach Thursday, I believe, the 2nd?
I believe they actually moved that back to the 9th.
Well, I guess maybe the search is not going quite as planned.
This is a terrible time of year to be searching. You're coming in such a bad situation. I mean, we talked to Rodney Ellison last week on here. He's like, there's no way, first off, that I would leave my kids at Wartburg. And two, it would be so hard to come in and get anything in place. Whoever is the coach deserves the freest pass in the world this season. And those players deserve the most support we can give them because they have been down and they have been kicked while they're down. Because somebody, I'm going to try to be nice here. No, I'm not. Some idiot hired the guy, made some promises. There's some certification issues, which I think is a cover-up. Just because they wouldn't fulfill his promises. You can teach on a waiver. I'm sorry, I've seen it happen.
There are ways around that certification issue,
There absolutely is. Sean Jesse, his first year at Jacksboro, first 2 years at Jacksboro, taught on a waiver.
He did.
Until he got to finish his national teacher's exam. And, he's just an example I'm using because I like to pick on Sean, but I know teachers all the time that teach on a waiver while finishing up their certification and their praxis.
It's a pretty common practice, and it's convenient that this football coach was promised things, he didn't get those things, and suddenly this becomes a big issue because as bad as whoever hired him must have been, I can't imagine you wouldn't look into something as elementary as the teacher certification issue and either say it's going to be an issue or not.
Right, and this guy, I was talking to the mother of one of the players. And the sad fact is, she was like, I felt like this guy could have been the best thing that ever happened to Campbell County sports in general. That he had some great ideas. He had a great background. My son was excited to play for him. And then it's just taken away. Just like that.
The guy's coached to college. He's played professional football. He's been paid money to play football. That's extremely rare. Even with Canadian football leagues, which Luke hates, and I do too.
It's kind of like being paid money. You're being paid Canadian money.
The Arena League, all that. It's an elite group of people ever get paid to play football or any professional sport. And to have somebody like that that's actually your coach, it's like the John Higgins basketball situation. You just don't get coaches every day that are at that level.
Yeah. Coach Minot, I know a lot of people that have made the statement, well, he shouldn't have just up and resigned. Well, when you're lied to like that, you're shoved around, and you've got that coaching pedigree, you don't have to put up with that.
People say that all the time, but, look at it this way. What if you were hired for Company X to build 20 units or something, and they said, we're going to get you 10 people to help you. And then suddenly you get one person to help you, and they're like, we're not going to really give you those 10 people we promised you, but you still have to build them. Most people are going to get mad and quit.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's not, you look at it, you've got to do this for the kids. you know, you do a lot for the kids, but it's still his job. It's his profession. That's what he does. He has to make a living just like everybody else. And you can't put that at risk.
And looks a guy like that, he's got a pedigree. He's going to wind up coaching somewhere.
Yeah, he'll coach somewhere and he'll do a good job. He may coach in college. He may coach in
high
school.
He may coach in a school system that doesn't have some idiot making promises. And, you know, all of a sudden there being a certification question. There might be somebody who knows how to get a waiver out there. Who knows?
Yes.
But, you know, back to the kids played a blue and orange game yesterday morning. It was very competitive. I hear Tuffy Shoops looked really good at quarterback. You know, Tuffy had a pretty good career at La Follette. He really wasn't the best quarterback for the system Wells had, and he's a more traditional drop back thrower. Would have done better in a little bit more of a pro style offense as opposed to the flex bone option offense.
Who knows what style they're going to end up running next year?
Yeah, no idea who the coach is going to be. So
most of the time, the coach is going to probably try to tailor something to fit his player base, but who knows how much time he's going to have to find out what his player base is at this point.
Yeah, because at this point, for one, I mean, they're really not allowed to do anything else until most of the summer is gone.
Right. I mean, they can lift. They can go out and, like Rodney was talking, they can go out in shorts. You cannot put on pads for another. Let's see, it's the end of May, June, July, for another 2 months. And even then, 2 months is not a lot of time to build a football team.
I suspect, barring a miracle, whatever coach comes in, he's going to have to put in a basic system, and you're probably going to see a lot of running the ball again this year.
Right, and again, not taking away from anybody who runs the ball there, but Tuffy's a great throwing quarterback.
If you can throw the ball at the high school level, it's just like middle school. If you can throw the ball effectively, you can win games because most people run the ball because it's more simple to run the ball usually. I'm sure we have good running backs.
Well, I know that Phoenix Asher was a good running back in middle school. Ethan Miller is up there and is a good running back. Now, he's actually a good quarterback too, but I mean, he's a running back in high school.
If you have a quarterback who can throw it and are able to get an offensive system in where you can throw the ball, you can really dazzle people in high school and really.
You can look at Cumberland Gap and Wartburg.
Yeah, I mean, it's something else to watch somebody throw for 300 yards in a high school football game. It doesn't happen that often in this area, and almost never for Campbell County.
Yeah, there's something has to give, and I hope it gives on the side of the players this time. Like I said, I've preached this in my column. I preached this on the show. We really need to turn out for these kids this year.
It would be good to get them, support them. Even if you don't agree with the politics of the situation, support them.
Right. I mean, I don't agree with the politics of the situation, but I want to see the team do well. Right. I mean, let's look at our neighbors to the south. I mean, let's look at Anderson County. Now, Anderson County went through a very similar issue, but let's look where. Larry Kerr had a strong base. They had given the job to Tony Lambert. Tony, for whatever reason, decided, no, I don't want the responsibility. High school head coach is a huge responsibility. I'm going to go, he's from Oneida, I'm going to go be a coordinator at Oneida High School. I don't want this. Well, they had to hire Davey Gillum in. Also, fine coach. He'd been head coach at Scott County, played at Anderson, played for Coach Minot and coached for Coach Minot in college. Davey had coached on the college level already. And, he went down there, but the difference is they didn't change a bit of the system that was already there. Because, Tony Lambert coached under Larry Kerr, so was going to run the same system. Davey played under Lambert and Kerr, so then you have the same system in place. They were pretty successful, And it's stuff like that is, why teams like that have such a great base of support and all that. They have symmetry. They have
continuities.
Yeah.
For something like that, but I don't see any continuity now for us for sure because I'm assuming that Coach Minot put at least a few things in his new whatever system he was going to run, and now that's out the window. So,
and he had Josh James, who played for him in college, and knew his system, so he had at least a little help, enough in time to put stuff in. But now, I mean, you could easily see them just line up and the power eye and run the ball up the middle, three yards in a cloud of dust, which is not necessarily the worst way to play football, but it's not going to win you a lot of games anymore.
No. If you get behind and you can't throw the ball, especially, I mean, we saw it last year with Campbell County and the year before. If you get behind and you can't throw the ball, you're just going to run the clock on yourself, and you're going to get further.
I've seen it with Campbell County for
it's a lot of
many incarnations.
You don't get many Chris Johnsons to come through Campbell County, unfortunately.
And there, I mean, no offense to anybody up there, there's no Chris Johnson up there right now. There's, I mean, he's just a special caliber running back that, I mean, he literally could break free for a run anytime. He had great field vision, great speed, great instincts. And that's not the kind of thing you could necessarily coach.
No, I mean, that was a lightning in a bottle kind of thing. It made the offensive system work really well because you couldn't stop him.
Right. I mean, he literally set up the passing game for him.
I mean, usually when you run any of those flex offenses like that, you got to have a great offensive line that's mobile and a great running back.
Campbell County, they've lost arguably their best lineman in years in Keenan Evans on the defensive front. That's some spots that are going to have to be looked at, but somebody's got to step up, and I would love to see a coach that can get out in the halls and bring players in.
That's what Campbell County needs more than anything. That's where we fall so far behind. Is our roster's the same size as AA schools?
Well, I mean,
instead of 5A schools.
Well, I'll use Wartburg again as an example, and Cumberland Gap. We went to those games last year. They have just as big a team as Campbell County at half the student body or less.
Cumberland Gap has about 600 students, and I think Wartburg only has about 400.
Campbell County has about 2,000?
1,500 to 2,000 most years.
Yeah, I mean, go look at an Oak Ridge or a Farragut with their literal 100 players on the field and not dressed their JV and varsity out.
And Campbell County should put 60 or 70 players on the field every year. And they usually end up with maybe a little more than half of that most years.
A good year number-wise for Campbell County is 45 players.
And, I don't understand why that's the way it is, but it just is that way. And, if we could get a little bit more passion for football going, I think Minot would have done that.
I absolutely agree he would have. But that's definitely water under the bridge. Now it's up to a new coach to come up here and make football fun to attend.
And fun to attend and make it fun to play. Make people want to play for him.
Yeah, I mean,
because if you can get people to play for you, you will get people to come and watch you. If you can get people to come out and play, if you're doing reasonably well, there's nothing else to do here on a Friday night anyway. In the fall, go to the football game.
Yeah, why wouldn't you? I mean, like I said, they deserve the support, and with the right person, it's a lot of fun.
It's a big difference when you go to actually watch skilled and fun football games.
Like Cumberland Gap Oneida last year. Two great teams that went at it. Jellicoe Wartburg.
Jellicoe's overwhelming that one.
Yeah, and it was a prime example of, not enough people on the field. Fans, we are out of time. Have a safe and happy Memorial Day. We'll be back next week, hopefully with special guest Keenan Evans.